Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. So, let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world. Welcome on and back again to the Sports Buffoon Studios here out of Leaden, Kansas, of course. Back in with the full clan. We got myself here, Mike Settle running it with Jason JG to my right.
Yo.
And Tanner Dawson over there on the other screen at home with all of his banners and flags behind him, representing like he should be. So what's going on, fellas? How you doing?
So what's up?
Doing good, man.
Doing good. It's been a little while. What's been like 3 weeks since we've been on the show?
Yeah.
3 weeks,
About
something
3
like that.
weeks.
So
Yeah.
I feel like we got a lot to catch up on, without a doubt. So a lot of changes has happened. I think our most recent show, we talked about the NBA quite a bit, so we'll definitely dive into that here in a little while.
Yeah, it was the NBA Finals was our final one. So yeah.
And then we obviously we're not like soccer guys necessarily, but I mean we've been following the World Cup to a degree. So
I mean, it's on everywhere you look, so
being here
you
in
can't
Kansas
help
City,
but miss it.
Yeah, you can't help but hear about it and pay attention a little bit at least.
Yeah, soccer is brutal right now, bro, because we did what we were supposed to do. A lot of people had wishful thinking that we would make it past the round of 16, but in reality, that's what was supposed to happen to this team.
Yeah, for me, I just care about certain players, like Messi, for instance, and watching him play well has been awesome. So I believe the next game is on Saturday. It is going to be Algeria, Antarctica. I don't know.
Argentina.
Thank you, Tanner.
I think it's Greenland, actually. Greenland.
Well, so Argentina against somebody. I don't know who is playing against them yet. But
is it the England game or I
don't know. I just know that they're playing here again in Kansas City. So that's what I know about.
Our final World Cup game, quarterfinal.
I know the United States is still trying to take over Greenland. That's why I brought it up.
Well, with certain people in office, man, trying to take over the world, it's possible, I guess.
Real quick here on the World Cup base here. What did you guys think of that Denver reporter saying that they should have done Mile High and the Arrowhead was trash compared to Mile High?
So I've been to Mile High and I've gotten to experience that stadium. And that reporter has no idea what they're talking about. Especially what's funny is that the Arrowhead was built in 1971. And you're comparing that to a stadium that was built like 25 years ago, and yet that stadium is awful. It is pathetic of what it could be or should be of a stadium that's not even that old. That's why they're already working on building a new one with a 25-year-old stadium. They're already saying that one's outdated too. Well, no crap. Yeah. Arrowhead, meanwhile, has been standing for 60 years. I mean, come on.
There's nothing wrong with Arrowhead. That's just like a homer.
Yeah,
Argentina, Switzerland, by the way.
Just being a hater, Tanner. I don't listen to those haters too often. I try not to anyway. But all right. Well, I guess I should say one thing. Speaking of Colombia and soccer and all that, so I spent some time in Jacksonville the past week. So Jacksonville, Florida. Got to meet some Jaguars fans and go to a great brewery down there called Old Ardwolf. Got to meet the locals and all that and have a good time. I will say, from my experience out in Jacksonville for a total of 4 days, the fans there were really cool. Never once heard a bad word. I was wearing my Chiefs stuff the entire time. Got to talk with a lot of them about Fred Taylor and Mark Brunell and Jimmy Smith and the greats of Jacksonville past and stuff like that, and get to know some of them and their thoughts over the years. And never once heard a bad word. In fact, the second I got off the plane and at the airport, I was getting a tomahawk chop from a lady walking right by me. And she was one that worked at the airport, by the way, which I'm assuming that means she was local. So anyways, overall, man, Jacksonville for me, solid city. I'm going to give that like an 8.5 out of 10 experience going to a city. So really good city. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. I mean, I had some great seafood, had some great Asian food and Thai food as well. So for me,
Goose.
I didn't know it was going to happen. So anyways. That's
all. Goose has the Chiefs missing the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Yeah, well, I will happily buy Goose a dinner and drink if that's true, and so that means Goose has to get back on here in 6 months if he's correct. I mean, I'll do it right now. You could come back and reference this show, as a matter of fact, if that's to come true, because
he'll book it too.
I feel about the opposite happening.
Good old Packers fan living in Minnesota. He'll book it.
Speaking of seafood, did we ever give our updates on the anchovy taste testing and how that all went down?
Well, we had sardines.
Sardines, same thing.
I don't know that it's the same thing, but I understand. So we did do the sardine experiment. I don't know if we've had a show since then. I think we have, but
Maybe
we have. That was the NBA Finals show.
you just remember. So one of the three of us was too scared to have a bite of it. So
No, one of us was
there was
smart
one
enough
person.
not
We have
to.
one person on this show that actually took the we'll call it the chicken exit. You guys ever go on a roller coaster and then you're allowed to take the chicken exit if you can?
yeah, but I've never heard
down
someone
that roller
hype
coaster.
themselves up and say how much of a badass they are leading up to that, and then literally get to the very edge of the roller coaster entrance, and then literally run off and just avoid to get it back on. So
That's what
Pretty
happened
wild.
with the sardines. But
Once you start drinking, I ain't
good,
touching that stuff. I learned my lesson with you, Mike. On a
dude,
party
that was
bus.
one time, and that was hot
Okay.
sauce. These weren't hot at all. These were just fish.
After drinking. So and
It
eating.
wasn't going to hurt
No.
you, man.
No
It was
shot.
fine.
The bottom line
shit.
is he's never going to live it down because we like to do a lot of putt shaming on this show. So
You ain't gonna hurt my feelings, boys.
well,
You ain't gonna hurt my
he's
feelings.
not going to live it down.
Well, not to bring up old things, but there was a hot sauce challenge we had one time. We could probably go back to, but we'll talk about that a different day.
Stay tuned, Goose. Stay tuned, Goose.
I'm
Stay
just
tuned.
saying that there's probably some putt shaming to go all around here. I'm sure I have some of my own. You guys can bring it up. I don't remember, but I'm sure I have some of my own that I deserve. So, anyways, before we get jumping into Chiefs topic here, what you guys sipping on today?
I got the vitamin water. It's called pineapple passion fruit rehydrate.
Yeah, it's been so hot outside recently too, and like today was terrible. Like I was outside for a good portion of the day and wasn't feeling it too much, so I just got me a Gatorade Zero. I mean, they're just nice and tasty to have during a show like this. So go ahead, Tanner.
You guys are so dumb.
What are you talking
I
about?
tell you what, you're so dumb. I got a distilled Deadhead Imperial IPA, 9%.
Okay.
I like the logo of
Distill's
it.
good, man.
Look at that logo. That's freaking
Yeah.
sick.
Oh, good.
can
He went. Looks
is
like he
really-
went
So
with
it's hard to find that can. You got is it a single or did you buy a 6-pack?
No, it's a single.
So
Tall-
your
tall.
local market has the Distill singles, huh?
Gas station liquor store up the street, man.
Wow.
Usually
That's
has.
cool.
They
Hard to
normally have the best tall boys, the single cans.
Do they
Yeah.
do they sell any non-alcoholic brews up there? Because that's what I like to try every once in a while.
Yes, Jason, they do. They do.
Good.
They do.
All right, guys.
It's in the restroom for you too. So
It's in the restroom.
It's in the bathroom.
What are you talking about?
Like they sell it in the lavatory on the airplane. What is this guy doing,
What's he
man?
talking about? You could get it in the restroom. You talking about the color of beer?
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Sometimes
worry.
I wish I understood Tanner's inside jokes.
Don't worry about it.
I feel like I want to know where he's coming from on some of this stuff, but
Well, I think his contract is up by the end of the year, and the producer he's going to get fired by the producers anyway. So he's just trying to live it up, I guess. For the rest of this season.
he's getting cocky, is what it is.
It's my last year, is what you're saying, guys. It's my last year under
Hey man,
contract.
I don't like to talk about contracts around here, but we can do it if you want to.
Sometimes you gotta get fired, right? It's in the ladies' room. Yeah, exactly. Non-alcoholic. So
All right. We're gonna get to Goose's favorite topic of the show today. Let's go ahead and talk Chiefs, Tanner. All right, guys. Settling the kingdom it is, huh? All right, very nice.
Still in the kingdom.
Man, I feel like we haven't had a good Chiefs talk in quite a while, as a matter of fact. So this is going to be good. And the main thing I had in my mind leading up to this week, I guess, before training camp, we are about 2.5 weeks out from training camp, is just reflecting on the Chiefs defense at this point in time. Basically looking at the roster and saying, hey, this was a very defensive focused draft, as it had to be. If you look at the key losses from 2022 draft class that we lost in this offseason, everyone has gone other than George Karlaftis. I mean, so we're looking at Trent McDuffie gone via trade. Jaylen Watson, our number one outside corner, gone, lost to the Los Angeles Rams. Brian Cook ended up going from Cincinnati to Cincinnati, literally. And so Josh Williams as well, another corner who just was a guy who was with us all along for the ride of a couple Super Bowl wins and was a big piece in that rookie season as well, starting some games. Also, keep in mind Leo Chenal, Mike Dana, Charles Omenihu, all were at different points of the season key factors in the Chiefs' defense. And so, in a lot of ways, you feel like you lost almost half of your defense in this one.
Did Nazi leave too?
Nazi Johnson. Well,
yeah,
that's a player that I hope never returns, for the record. So, Tanner, I don't know if you've watched a lot of Nazi. I think we all have at this point.
We saw him. We loved him pre-injury.
Well, right,
Pre-injury.
but we were there during the injury of that horrific training camp with the downfall and the downpour, and all that kind of good stuff. Right? Was that the same one? I think that was
the
that
same one.
And
Yep.
so, anyway.
Got hurt after they went inside. So
Yeah. No, anyways, Nazi Johnson, yes, is gone. So the only one left, like I said, is George Karlaftis. But it brings me to my point about this offseason, the way I looked at things, and it made sense. He had to go heavy on the draft. I got the NFL Chiefs draft hat this year for the first time since 2022. That's actually how good I felt about this draft class. And you guys know I am always willing to put my thoughts out there about Brett Veach and some of the job he's done over the past 3 years with the organization. And, in some ways setting them up in a position where they're put in hard times, I guess, to this point. But anyways, guys, the additions in the draft were Mansoor Delane, Peter Woods, R. Mason Thomas, Jadon Kennedy, Emmett Johnson, running back, and Cyrus Allen to round it off. But it is those first 4 picks that I want to talk about the most. If that was enough to get this defense back to where it needs to be. This defense last year was actually top 15 in the league, despite the fact of going 6-11 as a roster, and Mahomes being down and the offense putting them in bad positions. At the end of the day, they weren't bad. Were they getting pressure on the quarterback? No, that's the biggest problem right now with this roster is lack of pressure from the front 4. And so I look at guys like Peter Woods coming in right away, who plans on being a plug and play D tackle for this team, because last year you were trying to roll out Derek Nottie out there and Mike Pennell at times, and those guys were washed up as hell. I mean, that was pathetic. So Chris Jones had nobody next to him that could be worth a damn. And you guys know how I felt about Peter Woods leading up to the draft. He was on my do not draft list, as a matter of fact. But the fact is, Peter Woods athletically is better than anything we've had on this roster in a long time. So I will give him credit for that. Yeah. So I do think there's going to be a learning curve for Peter Woods from the front 4, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as we expect, maybe I expected coming into this season. And he's got experience playing the edge as well. So something to keep in mind as the year rolls on. Obviously, that's not the plan anyway. But I'm looking forward to seeing if he can prove me wrong in a lot of ways. And then one more guy real quick on the D line that I want to talk about is R. Mason Thomas. The main reason why this pick surprised me and excited me at the same time is that we finally did draft a speed rush edge defender, something we have not had in a long time, guy who specializes purely in pass rush ability. The main reason why this is going to be very concerning, though, Steve Spagnuolo does not care for undersized edge rush defensive ends. And what this reminds me a lot of is, you guys remember Joshua Uche, who was traded for a 6th-round pick just 2 years ago. They're the exact same size, 6'2" and about 250 pounds at the most. Joshua Uche got no playing time for the Chiefs. It might have been like 10 snaps total, and he was not put in a position to even have a chance to succeed. It's almost like Brett Veach walked in and said, "Okay, I'm going to bake you this bread," but then Steve Spagnuolo said, "That bread's trash. Get it out of here. I'm not going to want to use it." And so it was, it's a terrible analogy, but same idea. And so R. Mason Thomas fits that exact description, in my opinion, when it comes to his play style and ability. And so is Steve Spagnuolo willing to adjust his flexibility as a play caller to include more R. Mason Thomas? Because we didn't draft any other pass rusher. We didn't really add a pass rusher. There's still a hole on this roster from a veteran standpoint on the edge position that is going to be a problem going forward. So that is a major concern for me. So I got a couple other guys to get to, but I was just curious, do you guys have any input on the current state of last year's defensive core versus this year's? Did the Chiefs do enough?
Go ahead, Jason.
I don't think it's enough right now. I mean, like you said with R. Mason Thomas, I feel like that should have been something that was discussed with Steve Spagnuolo before you drafted him.
Yeah.
So that would be my thing with him.
I do want to point out one thing. They do videos every year of the draft selection process and videos of the staff in the background. And the phone call made to R. Mason Thomas with Steve Spagnuolo in the room. Spagnuolo, I'm just going to say, I've seen him more happy about other players over the years. He was not exactly thrilled or happy about the situation. Not to say he hates the player, but this was not his guy. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the record.
Well, I think for me, then it's all on Peter Woods at this point because George Karlaftis, I mean, he's not going to cut it, man. Like the dude is not going to get to the quarterback. Chris Jones, I'm actually a little bit higher on Chris Jones than most people because I think at age 32, like you should still have something left in the tank. And so I think Chris Jones can get there. But to me, it all falls on what you think Peter Woods is going to be able to do in terms of getting to the quarterback. So, yeah, I think we're a little bit shy of having the pass rush that we need at this point. And we were not good last year. I thought we had a good defense last year, but
It was okay.
except for pass rush. And so,
Right.
yeah, I think we need to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Tanner, you have any quick thoughts on that?
I mean, you guys are talking about all the pressure on Peter Woods here, and we'll talk about it here probably in minutes where you're leading to, Mike, on some free agent additions, right?
Sure. Yep.
We don't have to put all the pressure on the rookie. You know, Goose has said it too. In general, rookies are bad. Expecting rookies to come in and be starters is a tough place to be in. It is a tough place to be in, but the Chiefs are in a really tough place to be in too, with the rookies coming in. So like it's kind of expected from a championship team, championship style, championship coaching, to come in and be ready to be a starter, or at least in that kind of high playing capacity there. Did they do enough? Remains to be seen. We'll have to see here. We'll talk about free agency in just a minute. For it too, Mike, before you go to the free agencies section here, but Goose wants to know was the last good edge rusher for the Chiefs Jared Allen?
Yeah, Goose.
I think he's forgetting a few years.
That's terrible, man. You might have forgotten a guy that might have had 22 sacks in a single season, but I digress. But no, as far as rookies are generally bad, and that's my entire point with this draft class. Back in 2022, the Chiefs needed those guys to step up. They needed McDuffie to play well, and Josh Williams even, and Jaylen Watson, guys who were late round picks that stepped up in big moments. And that 2022 draft class was so important because all those rookies, including Isaiah Pacheco on offense, ended up playing a major part in a Super Bowl run that was amazing. And they got a victory over the Eagles. And so, I'm not going to say that's going to be easy to replicate, but I feel like with this class that you're going to get some opportunities because you drafted for need, So Mansoor Delane, for instance, is going to be playing from day one on the outside as an exact replacement for Jaylen Watson. I am a big fan of Delane. I think Delane's going to be awesome. You guys know I love the player. I didn't love the move up so much. The move up did bother me, but the player himself, you guys can go back and rewatch my pre-draft information on Delane and realize how much of a fan I was of his play abilities. So, between that and then also Jadon Kennedy is going to be a nickel replacement for Trent McDuffie. Obviously, that's hard shoes to fill, but I will say as a Chiefs fan, guys, I feel like there was a lot more hype around McDuffie as a player on the field than what maybe the national media was giving him in ways. McDuffie was always a very, very good corner on the nickel. This past year, when they tried to use him on the outside, it was like above average, something along those, maybe like a B or B plus at best. Type of a player on the field, where Jadon Kennedy is going to be a pure nickel corner and just being plugged into one area and just be expected to, come in and fill that role. And I'm looking forward to that. The guy put up in phenomenal numbers. If you go back and look at some of his statistics, his analytics statistics, He was like the number one nickel corner in all of college football this past year. And then Chiefs also added, like you're talking about free agency, Tanner. You got a couple of guys. You got Alohi Gilman at safety. And this is an area where I feel like the Chiefs haven't done enough, by the way, unless they use L'Jarius Sneed, who was brought back in a safety role. So L'Jarius Sneed brought back, cornerback, obviously had familiarity with Steve Spagnuolo in the defense, was a great Chief here. And but I honestly feel like L'Jarius Sneed should be used as a safety at this point in his career. And I think he could be really good. I think he'd be a ball hawk of a safety, as a matter of fact. That's just my opinion about that.
What about Christian Fulton? Do you think he has a chance to kind of bounce around there?
I personally think Christian Fulton was a pickup last year that was just like a desperate move that the Chiefs really didn't actually want to do, but they feel like they needed to do at the time. I personally don't have a lot of faith in Christian Fulton, and I don't think the team does either. If you look at the moves we've made here in free agency in the offseason, I didn't even mention Kader Kahu, who came from the Dolphins. I didn't even mention him. Another guy who is probably going to be a replacement for a guy like Fulton, who was injured throughout most of last year, also not consistent on the field. I don't really think he fits the mold for what Spags likes either. And I feel like the addition of him was something that really never was going to fit with the Chiefs. But we have enough other options at this point that I think it's going to work out. We're going to need them.
Chiefs, we've seen the Chiefs too take, first, second round picks a lot of times that didn't pan out on other teams, and get something out of them. Do you think Kaiir Elam is a possibility there of turning the corner here on a Spags defense?
If you'd asked me this question about 4 years ago, I would have been really excited. But
I know that's what I'm saying.
Despite the arm length and the size and everything else that comes along with Kaiir Elam, as a player on the field, the guy has not seemed to figure it out. So that's a guy I would consider. I definitely whiffed on myself when it comes to my own evaluation of Kaiir Elam. But with that said, do I hope everything pans out and someone can figure out this revival as a player? I mean, of course, but he had a little run with the Bills, had a run with the Cowboys. I mean, it's not looking pretty for him at this point, unless he has an entire mentality shift, which in a lot of ways, when guys have great athleticism, but they fail, it's a mentality problem that they have. So for me, Kaiir Elam, I'd be pleasantly surprised if he does anything to make the roster. I'll be watching him closely in training camp and preseason. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess the one other free agent addition I should bring up just real quick, Kairos Tonga, D-tackle, we picked up from the Patriots. Funny enough, he's going to be a guy probably I can only imagine Andy Reid plugging him in to play fullback on goal line situations. That's probably going to be something we do. We've done it before in the past, but he will be more along those lines of the run stopping Mike Pennell type guy. So we'll see him off and on, but he's not a game changer. We actually overpaid him quite a bit. But with that said, he's going to have a purpose with the team without a doubt. But
do you like him better than Derek Nottie, or is they the same player?
He's better than Derek Nottie. Derek Nottie might have been the worst.
Which is not saying much.
Might have been the worst D-tackle in football last year. I mean, he's washed up as they come.
I think with Tonga, though, coming from a variable defense, right, deep in the Super Bowl here, playing with that vet leadership that he had on the Patriots, I think it's going to be nice for him and Peter Woods to be able to be there and split time like this. It doesn't have to be him, 90% of the time. You split time, give Peter Woods a chance to learn more of the defense, learn the NFL, throughout the season, get his reps. But I think Tonga coming off such a strong performance last year I personally think he has a bigger impact than what you're thinking, Mike, on this D line. It makes us younger. It replaces a Pennell and a Nottie, and you give a chance for a rookie to get his legs underneath him.
Yeah, I hope I'm a little bit wrong about him, just because it's a guy who has no pass rush ability whatsoever. He's purely a run stopper. If he ever gets a sack, it's an accident. And so whenever we paid him 3 years for $21 million, I feel like that was quite a reach when it comes to the contract on the books. So for me, it's like, man, we really overpaid for a guy who's purely a run stopper. So he's going to have a purpose. I mean, everyone has their situational skill sets, but I feel like 3 years, $21 million for a run stopper only, who's only going to play probably 30 to 40% of your snaps. That's pretty steep in my opinion, but that's a Brett Veach move that we can talk about a different day when that time comes. We can either praise him when that time comes, or not, whatever, or ignore it. Doesn't matter to me. But with that said, I feel like there are two still holes on this roster at the moment, and that is that veteran defensive end presence that is very much needed on this roster. That I think I would have been ecstatic had the Chiefs gone and be able to get the Saints DN that just re-signed actually a week ago. That was kind of the guy that I had on my radar all along. Was thinking that was going to be the case to get that guy. I know he's 36 years old, but guy still puts.
He still had a great year last year on a crappy team.
Yeah, guy is still awesome. So, between that and then the safety situation, I feel like is still a big question mark that I am waiting to see unfold. And so there's just a lot of questions on the back end with that. And we still have a question mark at linebacker. Jeffrey Bossa is going to be starting now over what Leo Chenal provided, but Jeffrey Bossa brings a different element. Jeffrey Bossa is not the physical linebacker of Leo Chenal, but he can play the pass coverage a lot better than Leo Chenal can. And so it's going to be a different element while you're hoping Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill can be your run stoppers. You're going to need Bossa to be the guy that's flying all over the field, covering tight ends at times and stuff like that. So
preseason favorite last year before he got hurt, Cooper McDonald, also in competition for that spot there with Bossa. He looked good, right, in preseason. I think a lot of people liked him. He looked really good, but he got injured and they put him on IR, as they always do. So do you think he could make an impact, has a chance, or anything like that?
No, I mean, he's going to be a good special teamer, I think, at the end of the day. I mean, that's what we're going to need him for. At the end of the day, Jeffrey Bossa is our starting linebacker out of the three. Our starters are Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, and Jeffrey Bossa. And then Cooper McDonald, who, he came on as an undrafted free agent, was pretty good in production, did fine in special teams, and then filled in at the end of the year with some reps. But he is not the guy that you invested in. He's not the guy that you spent a fifth round pick in to get out on the field. And Bossa is just a better athlete. I mean, when you look at the measurables and everything, he's going to be the guy you expect to have an impact more. So those are probably my guys without a doubt that I would lean towards. But so
what about the coaching staff? Because we added guys, right? You added, I believe it's Terry Brandon Jr. with Joe Colin, to his staff. You hired Andre Curtis, an actual DB safeties coach that can come into play there, working along with Dave Merritt. Alex Whittingham. They lost a couple guys. Obviously, it didn't hurt them that much because it was a rough time. But I think they added some key coaches to the defense too, that has that experience.
No, I just think for the Chiefs this offseason, they finally were able to look at themselves, because I feel like the year prior to this, the Chiefs walked into the season just going, well, let's just keep doing the same shit we always do, because we've gone to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. Why not just retain the same staff? And even if they're guys who really don't deserve their job, like a certain wide receivers coach that went to KU, KU receivers coach, I should say.
Don't forget Blue Valley.
Well, he coached Blue Valley, but he spent a little time at KU anyway. Luckily he's gone. But what I meant is it gave time for the Chiefs to actually reflect on their problems. And when you go 6-11 after the success we've had of the previous 7 years, really makes you have to reflect on yourself. And so, going out and finding some new names and new guys that were going to make an impact on this roster, then I think is a great thing. And I don't know what those guys are going to provide yet. They're position coaches. And so you hope that they know what they're doing when they come into it. But then again, you never know with Andy Reid if he's going to pick a guy who has some background deep, within family somewhere where he's just known this kid for the last 30 years who's gotten older and plug him in. But I don't think that's the case. So that's my only thought on that, is that the change that the Chiefs needed, I think that they did the best they could this offseason to make happen.
Gotcha. Dave out here says Tonga 75% pass rush grade. Big Mike 50% definite upgrade. So 11.2 pass rush win rate as well for Tonga.
Hey, Mike Pennell actually got sacks every once in a while. I mean, it was rare, but Tonga literally gets none. I mean, literally none. So I don't know if those pass rush that might be a problem with scale at that point with statistics like that. It might be such a low scale because he's used so situationally not in those formations, that he's just not getting enough play time in those. But I don't know. Remains to be seen how he's used here in Kansas City. But the Patriots, I feel like, really saw him only as a run-stopping D tackle or fullback.
What's the verdict? So what's the verdict, boys? Did they do enough?
I think the youth movement is going to be very important for this defense this year. It's going to look very different on both sides of the ball, for the record. Did they do enough? I think there's going to be hiccups in the beginning. I think there's going to be major problems, especially the first half of the season. And I do think they still need the veteran defensive end somehow. I wouldn't even care if it was freaking Von Miller. I know that's unlikely, but I'm just saying they need some other DN to come along to give immediate help for George Karlaftis on the other side. George Karlaftis got 6 sacks last year. George Karlaftis is a guy who needs to have a defensive end opposite him who can force pressure back his way to make an impact in the game. He's not a guy that can do it on his own. He proved that last year, and we've known that for the last 4 years anyway. And so our Mason Thomas is not going to be an every down player. We already know that for a fact. So this team has a major hole still on the opposite side of George Karlaftis. So to me, like, there's got to be some way you can figure out a guy who's going to plug and play in that position. And I don't care if it's an overaged veteran D-end. You got to have somebody else that can rotate in there, because it's not our Mason Thomas. I can tell you that right now.
Is Justin Houston still around?
I wish. I wish. That was the last great D-end we had, really, that Goose was talking about. He said Jared Allen, but the last, obviously we've had Tom Bali and Justin Houston, and you guys, we could even say Frank Clark in some ways. I mean, in playoffs he showed up big, right?
He got us a ring.
And the playoffs he showed up big, but the best pass rusher all time in Chiefs history would have been Derek Thomas 1, Justin Houston 2, Jared Allen probably 3rd. Probably in that order.
JG, what's your verdict, dude?
Yeah, I'm just it's not enough for me. Like I think Mansoor Delane is going to be freaking awesome. I think he's the guy I'm going to be watching the most. He's going to be a guy that you can just literally, the opposing teams are going to say, okay, we're not going to throw that direction. And I think he's going to be that guy. And so, but like, he's still a rookie, and I don't want to put all of the pressure of my defense on one guy. And so I agree with Mike. Let's get some more pass rushers in here, because it's pretty obvious we don't have enough right now.
Yeah. Because then you just got to manufacture a pass rush like every other freaking year, where Spagnuolo's is having to blitz guys off the edge and so on and so on. And it just gets old, man. And eventually it doesn't work. The great defenses of today's game, they win Super Bowls right now. I mean, we talk about Eagles, Buccaneers, Rams. All these teams have elite defensive lines whenever they win Super Bowls. The Chiefs have somehow been manufacturing pressure over the years. Last year didn't cut it. And so we need to figure out a way to actually get pressure at the front four.
It's a very simple game when you think about it. You have to have a pass rush, and then you have to protect your own quarterback, and then you have to run the ball, stop the run. It's a very simple game. If you can do those 4 things, then you're on top of the world. But we can't do that right now. Now, obviously we'll talk about the offense a different show, but with Kenneth Walker in here, we're going to be able to run the ball, and we'll see about stopping the run. Hopefully we can do that. But the pass rush, to me, is one of the biggest concerns.
I think for me, I'm cautiously skeptical, right? I think we each went out and knew where to hit it hard, right? Defensive line, cornerbacks, secondary, right? I'm a little skeptical on just how it all executes and how it falls apart. I think there's some positives that came from it. Like we recognized it. We knew that we lost a lot of key pieces, but how can we replace those pieces, or at least you might not be able to replace, but have a different strategy that comes into play with younger players. So I'm cautiously skeptical. I think there's a chance, but same time, it could all be bite itself to dust.
Yeah,
So
the one great part of younger players who are talented, they have the right mentality, is that they come in hungry. And so, guys that we had from 2022 draft class all got to walk in and experience 3 straight Super Bowls, right? They thought it was easy. They thought going to the Super Bowl is you could just wake up every day and go to the Super Bowl. It's easy. My first 3 years in my league, I went. And so, these players who just came in, who just saw the Chiefs go 6-11, they might be telling themselves, hey, like, we have something to strive for. Like, this is a team who, could be on, and you might be telling yourself, could be on the hooks for major decline again. And so you as a player can look at that and say, if I come and show up and make my biggest impact possible, I can be like Trent McDuffie and Jaylen Watson and Isaiah Pacheco and so on and so on. And I might go to two Super Bowls in a row my first 2 years, like they did. And so that's one thing I'll say is that sometimes younger guys that come in like that haven't experienced success can come in and be hungry, which is not something you always get from a guy who's been in the league for 6-7 years.
And think about it too, the vets, right? Like we have vets out there that gone to the Super Bowls, lost them. You have Tonga. You have Tonga in the room now, who just lost the Super Bowl to the Seattle last year, right? So like there's enough, I think, leadership and experience out there that hopefully they can drive that and get that message across to the young guys. So
I agree. Anyways, that's my Chiefs thoughts for the moment. I'm still in off-season mode for the record, Tanner. So if you notice, there were certain names I omitted for a reason, but
you did.
Once we get full-fledged and back into the swing of things, then it'll be flowing like nothing else. So
can't wait till you talk about that Duke undrafted defensive end on training camp. So,
well, there's a couple undrafted guys that I got pretty excited about when we picked them up. So, one was on. Well, 2 of them were on offense, and then there was a couple on defense. One was in the a safety from Iowa, and there was a couple other guys. But we'll dive into them when training camp gets rolling around.
Cool. All right. Well, boys, let's hop into a new segment here, the Buffoon Rundown. New segment, guys. New segment here, okay? I'm going to present you guys, hopefully weekly, 3 of the top storylines in the last 7 days. And I want your reactions. I want your takes on it here. This is blind, by the way, for everybody out there. These guys have no idea what I'm going to be breaking to them. And they may not know. They might know. Hopefully they know. But I want their reactions. I want their takes on it here. So we'll start with the first one here. So I thought as soon as this thing dropped, I was laughing to myself because I saw the videos and I knew it was going to happen. Malik Beasley pleads not guilty to federal gambling charges. Charges allege that he manipulated his own stats in the Bucs game back in 2024 under overperforming prop lines in exchange for having gambling debts wiped out. Part of the same federal sweep that's already netted Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups. So I don't know if you guys saw the video here. I don't have it up, but there's a video with 2 or 3 seconds left. They're down by like 15. He needed to stay within plus 8.5. They were down by 9. He got the rebound on a missed shot with 3 seconds left, hustled his butt all the way across court, easy layup. They finished within plus 8.5. And that was a big game that immediately flagged the investigators. What's your take here? I know we talked about, Terry Rozier on last year at some point when it dropped here. But now we got Malik Beasley that finally got charged. And now he's pleading not guilty to this whole thing.
Yeah, my thoughts on Malik Beasley is I feel sorry for him because he's a former NBA player that's only 29 years old. And when you're in the NBA, you can play. It's not like the NFL where the average span of your career is going to be 3 to 5 years. Like in the NBA, if you're a quality role player like Malik Beasley is and was, you can make that last a long time. And so I feel bad for him as a 29-year-old that he got caught up with gambling. And, Terry Rozier, I think Terry Rozier, if I'm not mistaken, is a little bit older. But, I feel sorry for all these guys. I feel sorry for Chauncey Billups, dude, who was just getting started as an NBA head coach. Because, like the three of us that run this show, obviously we know a thing or two about gambling, but we've never taken anything to the extreme that these guys are doing right now, which is basically ruining their careers. And so that's my thoughts on Malik Beasley. Is I feel sorry for him and Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups and, Calvin Ridley and any of these freaking guys, dude, in any sport that get involved in these gambling rings, man. It's very sad. I do not envy them, and they obviously, a part of this is just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, but the more important factor here is just making the wrong decision at the wrong time. And so I feel sorry for these guys because, like, even if you're in the NBA as a role player, you can make a lot of money, dude. I think the current mid-level exception right now in the NBA is $15 million a year. So to sit there and watch a guy like Malik Beasley and Terry Rozier like screw themselves like with gambling, like it breaks my heart because you guys know I'm a big sports fan, I'm a big NBA fan, and so I just, it pains me to see this stuff going on, man.
What do you got, Mike?
Now, what'd you think about Sorsby from Texas Tech, Tanner, and that ordeal? Because he tried to get out of it and go to the supplemental draft in the NFL, and then the NFL said, "Oh, never mind, we're not doing a supplemental draft this year."
Nobody wanted him, yeah. And this is a guy projected to be like one of the top 3 quarterbacks going into this year's draft.
Yeah, next year he would have been a top 3 quarterback off the board without a doubt. But well, Texas Tech screwed themselves in a way by trying to be loyal to their recruit or transfer. And so they tried to play it cool and saying like, "Oh, he's still our guy," even with knowing that was not going to work.
But they got a Lubbock judge for Sorsby to grant his approval. So
right, the temporary approval, I guess. But yeah, then it all came down. Anyways, it's just funny because he realized, oh, this isn't going to work for me, so I'm going to go to the NFL then. And then the NFL said, "No, screw you." I just think that's funny. But at the same time, what's not funny is, maybe he has a true gambling addiction in some kind of way on sports betting. And that was his case, was that the fact he was constantly sports betting on everything, and apparently never his own game, from what I understand. But he was still, betting on college football and, situations like that. So which those guys know. Like, we know people in our lives that they're not allowed to even look at that shit. And so it's like, man, you know better, and you've been told better 1,000 times in 1,000 different ways. Don't even have that on your phone, and don't even, or any of that stuff. And yet they still think that they can find a loophole, like paying their friend to make a bet for them, when your phones are close enough together, and like they can track all that stuff, man. It's all very trackable, and NCAA does not joke around about that kind of stuff.
And, well, yeah, in sports books in general, right? They track that. They know when somebody could be there's something to flag him, right? If they change their bets from $10 every bet to all of a sudden $1,500 a bet,
yeah,
like, come on, like this isn't rocket science here. There's gonna be a flag.
Tanner, it'd be like if I was to give you like $2,000, it'd be like, make a bet for me. I think the draft book would be like, what is this guy doing?
Like, if you did it, it'd probably be normal. But for me,
well, I don't bet
that'd be such a biggest flag.
Game.
Yeah.
I've done it before.
You have done it,
but I don't do it all the time.
So Jason, you feel bad for the guy. I don't feel bad for any of these guys. There's been so many set examples ahead of them, and we're still doing the same crap. And quite frankly, to me, enjoy your life in jail or prison or whatever it ends up being, because you've clearly cannot learn, besides all the signs, the lessons, the classes they go through, the examples that have been set, and you still have the text messages. You have the text chain still on your freaking phone with everybody saying, "Oh, we're eating tonight, boys," and you show it in the games. Like, I can't say it. Like, I don't feel bad that they're getting caught because it is. You couldn't be any more clear about
and
what's
you can take that route, and I understand taking that route because all you got to do is look back to the 1980s and look at a guy like Pete Rose.
I was about to bring him up. Yeah,
you look at a guy like Pete Rose who set the example for exactly what you should not do, and he got banned from baseball until he's still not in the Hall of Fame, to my understanding. Eventually, he will be, but he got punished basically for the rest of his life, and so. I understand that there's an example that you can look back at and say, okay, don't do that. But at the end of the day, I still feel bad for these guys because there should be somebody. They've got to get a good crew around them, a financial planner or an accountant or somebody. They're just hanging out with the wrong people. And we always say that you're basically the aggregate of your best 5 friends that are around you, and they need to get some different friends, because if that's all they have is friends that are trying to convince them to, hey, just give me your phone and I'll create a separate account and nobody's ever going to know. Like I wouldn't want to live that life, man. And at the end of the day, your job is to be a pro athlete. It's not to get sucked into illegal gambling schemes. That's not your job. Now, me as a fan, as I don't know what you and I call ourselves, Mike. Do we call ourselves professional gamblers at this point? We can do this kind of stuff, right?
Term for that.
But that's not my job. Has nothing to do with professional sports.
We might be advantage players.
So if you're a professional athlete, just take care of your body, do your job, and just ignore all the freaking noise. And I think that's one thing. I mean, you guys know how much I love LeBron James. That guy, he never got caught up with anything, man. No scandals in that guy's whole career, whether it be gambling or,
Well, he is a big liar.
Well, we can make a case for that.
Well,
but
he's a big liar.
He never had any giant scandals. He
loves to lie.
And you guys know how much I love to stick up for LeBron James. I mean, that's well documented, but it's like use that guy as your freaking role model. Just keep it clean. It doesn't matter if you make $15 million a year, $5 million a year, or $100 million a year. Just keep your nose clean and surround yourself with the right people that can give you the right information about things like gambling, in terms of, you should probably just not mess around with this stuff.
Yeah. No, good call there. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Like I said, this is in the last 7 days here. So T Swift and Travis Kelce got married, guys, Madison Square Garden. Ceremony happened July 4th, reportedly with Wayne Gretzky and Selena Gomez among the guests. Crosses hard into the NFL. Oh, yeah, we all know. Like this is a thing, guys. It crosses hard into the NFL story because of Travis Kelce. And now there's a bunch of controversy going on, right? People are upset about the gifts that they ended up giving to people for that attended the wedding. Some people are saying, oh, they could have fed so many people, homeless people in the world, like stuff like that. Like if it's they made the money, let them spend what they want.
Cap, which I'm sure a lot of it was given away, I would hope.
Yeah. So, but what's your guys' take here? Are you were you fans that they did it their way, or are you guys, upset that they could have done something different?
They can do whatever the hell they want, man. It's their own situation. It's the most famous woman in the entire world, which is, by the way, our sweet buddy. And so to me,
next to Donna.
Well, Donna was fine, but
Donna was there.
I bet
you she looked good
the story about the bathrooms with Taylor and I, and so it was.
You guys had your moment. She questioned herself.
I knew she was on the wall next to me, across from me. I get it. So, but it's one of those things. But no, I just for me, like, dude, it's a personal thing. It's their own wedding. They can blow it up big, however the hell they want. They can invite 1,000 people. Charles Barkley said no, he didn't want to go because he was too tired and old to go. But man, I ain't worried about none of that, because to me, Taylor Swift, from what I understand, does a great job with her fans and her own employees, where she pays them very, very well, as far as I understand. So
Yeah.
she takes care of people as much as she can all the time, from what I've gathered. Like I said, I don't follow all that stuff. I know Travis way better than I know Taylor Swift, and I'm happy for Travis because me, obviously being me, I'm not the biggest fan of marriage in general in my life. Never have been, as a matter of fact. But if you're in Travis Kelce's shoes and you're dating the most famous woman who has the most money on earth, basically, you know what? It's not a bad thing to get married to her, especially if you actually love her. I mean, hopefully that works out long term forever, and then all the haters out there can really eat shit. So that's what I'm hoping for, anyway.
Well, we all know how it goes with celebrities, man. If you make it 5 years, like you're an overachiever. If you make it to 10, then you're in another world in terms of celebrities. In terms of the gifts that were given and people who were offended, I would just say this to you. If you were offended by a gift that was given at Taylor Swift's wedding, that's a you problem. That's not a Taylor Swift or a Travis Kelce problem. If you're offended by something that I say to somebody or somebody says to another, that's a you problem. Okay. That's a problem with all these people that like to be offended by random stuff. Focus on your own life. Okay. And if you get offended by anything in life, honestly, just understand that's a you problem. That's not a problem of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting a gift from anybody. If you care that much about this stuff, you need to take a look in the mirror and understand that you're way too easily offended.
I like it. I like it, JG. Preach it, man.
A lot of it's
Preach
political people, man, out there who are just being idiots because they don't like the politics of Taylor Swift or the fact Travis Kelce did the jab ad, which he was paid $20 million for. I'm not going to lie.
It's a you problem.
I would have done the same thing as Travis Kelce, as a matter of fact.
The amount of money between all of
them.
Look
in the mirror. It is a you problem. Go look in the mirror if you have a problem with yourself or if you have a problem with something that somebody else does.
Yeah. So, all right. I like it, guys. I like it. Finally, our final topic here that's happened. Final headline in the last 7 days, recently announced. It ain't Bobby Witt, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Salvador Perez. Jack Caglione heading the home run derby. Let's freaking go. He, the number 6 overall pick from 2024, just announced he's in. Third player to connect behind Junior Caminero and Ben Rice, with Wilson Contreras also confirmed. Cags right now hitting .258, .322, .455, 14 bombs. Absolute heater, despite his defense yesterday, which we won't get into. But 6 home runs in his last 5 games. He's the first Royal since Bobby Witt in 2024, and no Royal has ever won it. Derby is July 13th at Citizens Bank Park. And it is, by the way, they got rid of the dumb timer. It is officially back to swings being outs. Finally back to the old school format that we love and we grew up on. Yeah. That's exactly how it should be. So, guys, Cags in the home run derby. We gotta get some positivity out of these Royals. What's your thoughts?
Well, I can tell you that he's been working out consistently because I actually had a private workout with him the other day in a nondescript gym. We're not going to throw that out there. I have no clue what the heck he was doing in there, but if he's in the home run derby, I can promise you this: he's doing work. He's in the gym, and I hope he does well, man. I hope he does well.
Yeah. I just want to say I actually had a personal interview with Ned Yost about a week ago, and we have there was a lot of insight that was going on there, and let's just say Cags is at the top of his list of favorite players at the moment. So there's other issues like longevity with the Royals themselves, and where he sees the team going. I think in his mind it's still going to be quite a while before we're where we need to be. We're back to where as he was wearing his World Series ring, by the way, whenever I talked to him. But Jack Caglione is a guy who I think he's a big fan of. So, anyways, I've been excited in watching this whole season of Jack and seeing his maturity at the plate. It's getting better without a doubt from last year, and that's all we can ask is the fact that this guy who was a AAA bomber and got called up early, very early last year, and really had a hard time adjusting to the MLB level. To see his progression go from what it was to where it's at now in year 2 is awesome to me. So I cannot wait for year 3 and so on. And I'm excited for what he can do in the home run derby because I think he deserves the recognition because we have a young future superstar here in Kansas City. So that's going to make 2 of them if you include Bobby Witt now on the same roster.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot here. Right now, the list doesn't look too scary. If they put James Woods in, if he accepts, and from I believe the Cubs, I think it's where he's at. I can't remember half the time anymore, but if James Woods gets in it, he'd be my concern to beat Cags. But right now, I like Cags as like where he could possibly finish in the top here in the finals. Guy freaking swings hard. So, guys, that's the first ever Buffoon rundown. Trying out some segments here. Now it's next up. Time for the possibly the scariest one at times. It's the Grayson guarantee. Here we go.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about the NBA because the Los Angeles Lakers, they're bringing some white boys into the building, and this is a huge controversy. Obviously, you get rid of, let's call him the 5th best player in the history of the sport, in LeBron James, and you sign Austin Reeves to that big contract. And now the projected starting 5 for the Lakers next year, you've got Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Sandro, we'll just say Machiavelli, because I don't know how to pronounce that name. We'll just say Machiavelli, dude. Who cares?
I like that.
Walker Kessler at the center position, and Quentin Grimes at the small forward. So I know that for one, Stephen A. Smith, if you guys have been watching him, he's very passionate about this because in the history of the NBA, I think there was a couple of times where you had 2 white guys were the 2 best players on the team, and Larry Bird and Kevin McHale, that could win a championship. But there's never been a time in the history of the NBA where you had your 3 best players be white guys. And so Stephen A. he's been calling it out. He's saying, like, what the heck are the Lakers doing? This is, an unmitigated disaster. And, I just want to know what you guys' thoughts are on this roster, because if you want me to give you a hot take, I will say that the Lakers probably don't have the balls to do this, but they're going to figure out a way to get Quentin Grimes out of that small forward position before opening night, and they are going to start 5 white boys just to spite everybody else. I can't tell you who it's going to be. You've got a little bit time. You got a lot of time left actually in free agency. But my hot take is that you will see Quentin Grimes exit that projected starting lineup, and you're going to have 5 white boys starting for the Los Angeles Lakers, which might have happened at one point back when they were in honest to God, I don't want to go back this far because a lot of people listening to this show probably never heard of a guy named George Mikan when they were called the Minneapolis Lakers. That name actually fits if you put them in Minneapolis. But the last time I checked, there's not a whole lot of lakes in Los Angeles. And if they are, they're man-made. So back then when they were in Minneapolis, maybe they had 5 white guys. But since they've been in LA, I don't think that's ever happened. So that's going to be my hot take, is that the Lakers don't have the courage to start 5 white guys in the starting lineup, at least on opening night. But they'll probably do it if they listen to my show.
You know, JG, the Lakers could add that other guy to go with Kessler. Valanciunas got released today. They could be looking for another big man.
Yeah, but I'm talking about starters though. Like who's?
I think you could be a starter on that team.
I know.
Put Kessler in the power forward, and you got that.
Okay, no, I buy it. So you're just gonna go with a big. You're gonna go with a big lineup.
Two bigs down low, one that can shoot, one that can get boards.
So I actually don't have a problem with the lineup. You know why? Because I've got Luka Doncic. So you're going to win enough games to be a top 5 seed in the West. You're not going to win a championship, but like if you're in Lakers country, we all have a close dear friend who is a huge Lakers fan. I already talked to him, dude. He gave up. I'm not going to mention his name. You know who I'm talking about. He already gave up. He thinks it's a joke, an unmitigated disaster. I think they have a chance to be competitive, but not in terms of winning a championship. You got to add some more pieces because, I hate to call out Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, but I pointed this out on one of my YouTubes is that you can't have your best 2 players be horrible on defense. Like you're never going to win a ring. You might win a lot of games, but you're never going to win a championship. And so I think what the Lakers need to do right now is you've got to get some 3-and-D wings out there. You got to get some ball hawks that can just fly around and play defense because right now, yes, you can protect the rim with Walker Kessler, but what you can't do is guard the perimeter. And so I think that they've got some work to do on this roster, but I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. But, if I was a Lakers fan, I would hate it too, man. You can't have the, back in the 80s, we used to call it the Showtime Lakers. Now we have the Snowtime Lakers because we have basically, once you throw Sandro Machiavelli in there, you got 4 of your 5 players are white guys. So it's the Snowtime Lakers. And, it's either going to be one or two things. It's going to be an unmitigated disaster, or they're going to be a top 4 seed in the West and get their butts kicked in the first round.
Well, I hate to break it to him, but I don't think Reeves is an actual starter for this team. He's going to be. I just don't think that's going to be a move they want. So,
you said Austin Reeves?
Yeah.
What do you think, he's going to be the 6th man or what?
No, he's going to start on this team. I just think his impact isn't going to be starter worthy after LeBron leaves, since LeBron's gone.
Oh, Austin Reeves?
Yeah, no. I mean,
actually, I agree with that a little bit, Tanner, because I think it's a guy that needs it to have a guy like LeBron on the team to be successful.
He does.
I think I agree with that. I've watched enough Austin Reeves, even as a NBA guy who doesn't watch all the games, to figure that out.
Well, he's not as bad as Luka Doncic on defense. Now, when they lost that last series, he was actually injured. He was not playing with a full deck. He was not playing with a full deck, as we like to say on the show. But, so he's not as bad on defense as Luka. But again, and if you're a Lakers fan, it's championship or bust, and this is not a championship roster.
Yeah, that's fair. Mike, what do you got on this?
I mean, shoot, what was the question again, man?
Do you think the Snow Lakers are going to win, dude?
The Snowflake. What do you think of the Snowflake Lakers or the Snowtime Lakers with all white guys?
To me, it's going to be a disaster at the end of the day. I mean, LeBron left for a reason and for good reason, and the Lakers are going to be struggling going forward. So I feel like it's not going to be fun for any of them. And I know we have a certain friend, by the way, who is a big Lakers fan. He's probably not happy about it. But no, I mean, what do you guys expect for the Lakers? I mean, I don't think it's going to anything good.
I think-
In fact, I think that they need to go back to the drawing board. They still have time to pick up some random bums. along
Yeah,
the way
no,
that
they
can
need
maybe
some
assist
depth.
in this
They
little
need some
experiment
depth.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Well,
they
we're
need
going to
depth.
see what they do in free agency. I mean, but it's all about 3-and-D guys that can fly. They need 3-and-D guys that can shoot threes and guard the perimeter, and that's pretty much it. If they can't find that, then
Well,
they
they already
have
got
a
guys that can
0%
shoot
chance
three.
of winning the championship. Like, don't even watch that
Yeah.
freaking team next year.
You got
I'm
guys
not
that can
watching
shoot
that
three
team
with
at all next
Kessler and Grimes.
Well,
So,
you will.
No,
We'll be talking about it on the show
The
because
Lakers. I will not watch the Lakers next year.
every year, man. Every
I
year.
will
It's what
not-
we
you know what
talk
I'll be
about.
watching next year? I'll be watching the Denver Nuggets, like always, because they have my favorite player to watch
Joker.
basketball. I'll be watching the Phoenix Suns because they have an actual favorite player right here, Mr. Devin Booker. But no, it's between Jokic and Devin Booker. I'm full. That's all I need is 2 teams to watch, and the rest of the teams can do whatever they're going to do, and I'll figure it out when the records play out.
Okay, so we'll go to hot take number 2 right now. The reason why LeBron James left the Lakers is the reason that I just stated to you guys. There's no perimeter defense whatsoever. So that's why he got out of there, and he wants to actually
Failing
win.
project.
He wants to win a championship. So if you're eligible suitor out there, and I know Tanner, you've got this pulled up on Cal Sheet, and I'll send it to you. I want to see your current odds of teams, and I'm going to dissect this.
Yeah. So I got actually Polymarket. And since we've been live, Jason, in this hour and 6 some seconds, Cleveland Cavaliers were a 51%. In the last 5 minutes, Cleveland Cavaliers shot to a 48% chance of being LeBron's team. Miami Heat at 23, Golden State at 22, the 76ers at 16%. The Heat have been gaining a lot of advantage here in the last hour, basically, of looking at the odds here. So you're looking at the Cavs being the favorite at 48% as of this moment.
So, yeah, there's a reason why the Cavs are going down, and there's a reason why the Heat went way up. I talked about this on one of my YouTubes. You've got to have a high basketball IQ if you're thinking about what LeBron is going to do next. And LeBron James knows that defense wins championships, and that's the exact reason why he would never go back to the Cavs. And the last time I did a video on this, Miami Heat, I believe, were only 10%. And the Sixers were in the single digits. I have no idea. For the life of me why the Golden State Warriors are still that high. It makes no sense. They are one of the oldest teams in the NBA. LeBron James, if he's just trying to be happy, what would make you the happiest? You got to get your 5th ring. Okay? The only way you're going to get your 5th ring is if you go to a team like Philadelphia or Miami. We talked about this before. You've got to have guys that can defend the rim and also fly around on the perimeter. There's only one team out of the 4 that we're talking about right now that can do both. You can defend the perimeter and you can fly around on the wings and play defense. That's the Philadelphia 76ers. So, guys, I'm telling you this right now, you think this is a hot take. This is not a hot take. This is exactly what's going to happen. LeBron James is going to sign with the Sixers. You can take it to the bank because they've got guys like Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe that can fly around, play defense. Those guys are young. And they've got Joel Embiid, who they can, if they want to, they could just shut him down until freaking after the All-Star break and then just say, hey, man, we don't want you to get injured. Bring him out in March. So now you've got Joel Embiid. You would have a healthy Joel Embiid protecting the rim. LeBron James playing the 4. And then you've got Jaylen Brown, who is probably, I would say he might be at this point, the best two-way player in the league. So Jaylen Brown is going to guard, and he's also going to put up a 30-burger whenever the heck you need him to. VJ Edgecombe is a budding superstar right now. So if you want to load up and just try to win a championship, you're going to get younger and you're going to sign with a team that's going to play some defense. And there's really no other team that can do that right now. I understand the argument with the Miami Heat because he's been there before. He can play with Giannis and Bam, but dude, Giannis is freaking getting up there, bro. And he gets injured from time to time. And I just don't know what they're going to do with their wing defender situation. So if I'm LeBron James, if I'm sitting in his shoes, I mean, I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm going to sign with the Philadelphia 76ers. You're signing with a president of basketball operations and Bob Myers, who's got, I don't know how many rings, when he was with Golden State. And you guys can take this to the bank. And so I don't know, like Tanner, you just gave out the Kalshi odds, but to me, it's getting a little ridiculous. If you're talking about Miami, I can buy that to a certain extent. If you're talking about Golden State and Cleveland, give me a break, dude. Like that's 100% an emotional decision if he does either of those two venues, and it will be a complete disaster from a basketball perspective. So that's my hot take. He's going to Philly. There's no questions asked at this point.
So if you are on Polymarket and you go bet $10 on the 76ers, your return is $63.40.
There you go, Mike. Put 1,000 on it right now.
I don't like it.
$1,000.
You put 100, dude.
No, that's
put 100.
I don't like it at all.
That's $589, dude. Go put it on Mike.
But the whole point of this conversation.
Well, go ahead. I'll say something about betting in a second. Go ahead.
No, I'll let you go. I'm just saying the whole point of this conversation is that everybody, or some people, think that you're the GOAT. Most people know you're not. If you wanted to edge yourself closer to that, then you would probably try to get a 5th championship. If you're not trying to get a 5th championship, and I'll look into the camera right here, right now, LeBron James. If you're not trying to get a 5th championship, you're wasting your freaking time. Your legacy is going down the drain right now. So go to Philly, just get it over with. Maybe he thinks his legacy is going to be trash anyway, but at least you could get your 5th championship.
Yeah, he thinks he's like George Blanda or something, or he's just going to play forever. And what was the other quarterback that played till he was like 46 or 47 years old? It was a total bum. He's going to turn into that. It's like basically you're just wasting your time.
The problem with that is that
Gus Farrat, one of those kind of guys.
The problem with that is you do have a guy that played forever in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Guess what? He's got 6 freaking rings. So you can't even get as many
you're not
rings
gonna
as
get
Kareem.
6 rings if you're LeBron.
You can't even do that. So why are you wasting our time, LeBron? Just go to a team that's
at least
a freaking contender that can give you a chance.
At least when Tom Brady went to a new team, he won a ring immediately at 45 years old. By the way,
so
I'm not getting into this with you guys.
43,
so.
Basically, what Mike is saying is that if you can't do what Tom Brady did, then you're
if you're going to leave your old team, go to your new team, win immediately. Then what's your freaking point? That's stupid.
I'm not doing this.
Especially you're at that age. It makes no sense. So. Oh, the one thing I want to say, what I should have bet on was last night, Tyler Tolbert record watch, guys. I was actually watching the Royals game, believe it or not. And anyways, there was a bet option. I looked at so you guys know as the Baccarat players here, it was bet with the streak, right? Well, Tyler Tolbert was at 9 hits in a row, right? At this point, he already had 2 hits in the game already at that point. And so I was like, well, Baccarat tells me to bet with a streak.
Absolutely.
I get on my DraftKings account, and I plug in $10 more to get 1 more hit, right? It'd pay me like $40. So then if I bet for 2 more hits, it was going to pay me $460.
I like that, dude.
On a $20 bet. And Tyler Tolbert ended up having 3 more hits in this game. and I didn't bet on any of it. So I had $460 in front of my face if I just bet $20 for Tyler Tolbert to get 2 more hits, and I didn't bet on any of it. I stared at it and I didn't do it, and I was like,
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about gambling, but I've heard this like a bajillion times. If you don't bet on it, I promise you it will happen. If you do bet on it, you're getting screwed.
and there was something about his streak of 12 hits in a row that were pretty crazy. It was just like it felt like it was meant to be. For some reason, that 13th, it did not happen, by the way. But it was just like it was the 9th inning or whatever, and it was like it wasn't meant to be. But he tied the MLB record, by the way, for 12 hits in a row.
That's
only
crazy, dude.
4 other players have ever done that in the history of the MLB.
Is Paul Molitor one of those? Played back in the 80s and 90s? I feel like Paul Molitor got a lot of hits in a row.
There was guys from like 1903.
Jeez.
Like we're going back that far that we're on.
He tied with a guy. What was it? 1929, something like that.
Yeah, there were some really old players that he tied with.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like this record, the last time it was touched was actually 2 years ago by somebody. But Tyler Tolbert, who's still like a rookie, he's still a rookie who goes out there and probably the only rookie that's ever done it, if I had to assume, but still go out there and have 12 hits in a row. That's freaking awesome.
All of
it was fun to watch. But,
hey, it's like
Mike
you were talking about earlier. It's all of these sports are mental. It's a mental game.
Yeah.
You can have an athletic ability, but if you're not right in your mind, then you're limiting yourself.
His 12th hit was a check swing. I don't think he meant to actually hit the ball.
He did the last two. The last two were grounders at the shortstop.
Got contact on the ball. Almost didn't mean to do it, and then took off running. He's so fast that by the time the shortstop got to the ball, he was already at the first base. So they didn't want to throw.
His 11th and 12th were grounders to the freaking shortstop.
And his first hit was a home run. The guy that was awesome. So, anyways, I'm happy to say I got to see him. So when I went up to AAA in Omaha last year to see Jack Caglione had just been called down to Kansas City at the exact same freaking weekend. I was going up to Omaha, so I was pissed. Yep. I didn't get to watch Jack Caglione.
Well, that's my first game watching Wemby. My very first game ever watching Wemby. He got injured in the warm-ups. I never saw him play.
That's terrible.
And then I got the flu for like a full week after I got back from Dallas because it was a Mavericks game.
Yeah.
And I got back and my whole family got the freaking flu. It was a disaster.
that is a full disaster.
That makes me never want to watch Wemby again because it'll screw him over.
My only saving grace with the Omaha trip I took was that Tyler Tolbert was playing in that game, and I got to see him actually play very well in that game, which he was a guy who I didn't really think anything of. I was there to see Jack, and Jack wasn't there. But Tolbert, I played like a badass in that game.
Did you play a Baccarat session on that trip?
I did, as a matter of fact.
How'd you do on the Baccarat session?
I won. I was on that.
So see, that's all that matters, right there. You bettered yourself, and that's what's important.
You got to remember that was part of my heavy streak where I couldn't lose.
Right.
I won 19 in a row.
Yeah, you and I have been down that road, and it's amazing streaks that happen sometimes.
So anyways, go ahead, Tanner.
You guys ready to get to the fantasy topic?
All right, let's do it, man.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Tanner, there's a lot of tight ends on that draft board you just put up. Oh, gee, which reminds me,
unintentional.
You know what's funny though about that is that if most people don't know who we are, but as an inside joke, it's actually very funny to me. So at least we get to laugh about that. But anyways.
We do. All right, guys. Well, fantasy football is right around the corner for a lot of people. It's here for a lot of people as well. So we're keeping this topic easy. Okay, completely easy. All the question is, it's a simple one, guys. All you got to know is who are you drafting no matter what. That's all it is. That's all you got to answer. Who are you drafting no matter what? I don't care what round. I don't care how high profile player it is. Who you drafting no matter what this year?
All right. Me to go first, Tanner?
Go for it, man.
All right. My number one guy that I'm going to draft no matter what is the guy who's actually had a bit of an indifference with his head coach, as a matter of fact. A young man who has disagreements very openly with his head coach, as a matter of fact. And that is Travion Henderson, running back for the Patriots, who right now is going as RB22 in the average of draft classes at the moment. Half-point PPR, 55 overall. In full PPR, he's 53 overall, RB22. In PPR leagues, which he is a PPR monster in my mind. He's a guy who should be catching at least 45 to 50 catches this year, in my opinion. Especially when your backup's still Ramondre Stevenson. But it's more of the basic. We saw during points of last year Henderson evolve and get better and better. Henderson was already good. That was never the problem. I watched him enough at Ohio State, man. I know what the guy's capable of. And so to see him in some ways get kind of throttled back for the Patriots the first few weeks was frustrating for me, because he actually went, I believe, in our league, like in the third or fourth round. Like, he went really high. You're telling me his projection for this coming season is actually around 4 or 5? And we know his talent. Like, I'm telling you, Henderson's going to be a guy, especially RB22, is going to be a threat as your number 2 or on some teams number 3 running back on your roster. And so he's probably not going to want to be your number 1 on your team. But if the 4th round is hanging around and I'm picking, somewhere, let's see, pick 42 in the 4th round or something like that, Travion Henderson is going to be my pick. So too much talent, too much receiving ability, too much straight line speed. And also he's got some physicality too to him. And I think that, some of his stuff that was said at the end of last year between him and Mike Vrabel, at the end of the day, I think that all this guy cares about is putting up numbers. And whether Mike Vrabel is around for the long term or not is remained to be seen, because he obviously has his own personal things
I played
to worry about.
I played at the Vrabel table.
He
not
played
too
it
long ago.
JG played at the Vrabel table in Biloxi. That is a fact.
And I won. I made like
won at the
$120
Vrabel
at
table.
that table, dude.
Yeah, he won at the Vrabel table. But Travion Henderson is without a doubt my number 1 pick as a guy who I will not let slip past a quality range, especially if you're picking on top of the 4th round, or even hell, I would consider it back in my 3rd round as a Travion Henderson pick. So I feel that good about him, and him and Vrabel can disagree all day long about God or morals or whatever the case may be. Whatever Vrabel wants to come up with to try to act like he's got it all figured out with his life, because obviously he doesn't. You can come up with some bullshit, but Travion Henderson, I appreciate his own beliefs and him standing up for that, and he will do his job at the end of the day, even if Mike Vrabel doesn't want to do his.
Jason?
That's well said, man. I appreciate that. My guy is Brock Bowers. I was debating back and forth on whether I should set this guy as my keeper, but at the end of the day, he was the tight end 1 in our league last year. 680 receiving yards, 7 receiving touchdowns. The Raiders, they're not going to be that good, dude. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and I know how much Tanner loves to talk about tight ends, the football kind. So that's why I thought I'd throw Brock Bowers out there.
Does he like loose ends anywhere?
He likes burn ends at the barbecue
Burn
joint. So that's why I like me some Brock Bowers, because the Raiders, dude, the Raiders are always terrible, and that equals throwing the ball a lot. You got to come back in some of these games, especially if you're going to be playing in a division with Patrick Mahomes, Sean Payton with the freaking Broncos, all these guys. You're going to have to come back, and so that's why I like me some Brock Bowers. And I like burn ends too, to be clear. I like burn ends.
I do too, but not 3 days in a row, man. I start to feel the bubble guts. I mean, you can start to burn ends. They're a delicacy, You have it like once every like 2 months, but like having it like every single day, you will feel like crap.
Well, when you go to the Char Bar, you'll want it at least once a week.
Look, I've been to the Char Bar. Char Bar is great, man. I love Char Bar.
Eat it once a week, dude.
Well, the problem was I had Casey Joe's 3 days in a row, and that was a problem.
That was a mistake.
That was a big problem.
That was a mistake.
That was a big problem.
I didn't tell you to do that. Why'd you do that?
It was because I was force fed.
No. You get force fed as an adult. Side note, you got some life issues, man.
Well, ask for this to happen, but it was trying to force it to happen, and next thing you know, 3 days in a row of burnt ends up my ass, and I did not enjoy it at the third day. The first day was fine. First day is great. Day 2, I'm feeling a little uneasy. Day 3, bad news. You got to toss the rest of it, and because there were still leftovers. There were still some leftovers, and it was a struggle bus.
Sounds like you were dealing with some.
You'd rather not feel like crap when you eat food.
Were you dealing with some bondage there? If they made you eat it like 3 days in a row, is that a bondage situation or?
I don't know how to describe this to you, but I'm not gonna say bondage, but I mean it was definitely a special situation.
Did they tie you down and just like jam it down your throat?
I was telling them no, stop. I've had enough.
Mm-hmm.
And yet more was being put in, and I'll put it that way. And even though the no stop that was enough would have gotten me fine, I would have been okay with that. When more got put in, that was the moment that I knew that this was going to be a hard.
Maybe that was the problem with Malik Beasley when he started gambling and he tried to stop. They just said, "No, you need more.
Keep going."
Yeah, we're gonna.
I know my limits these days with like almost everything. So normally when I say that's enough, I would hope that. Like I know my limits because I do at this point, but some people say you can handle more. Keep shoveling. I
think the moral of the story is please start to tell people no. You need to tell people no.
There's certain people in your life. No. There are certain people in your life you can tell no 1,000 times, and they will still think that no, you need more. So that's all I can tell you, man. There's certain people.
All right, Tanner, who you got for the burn ends, the football kind or the tight ends?
I had George Pickens. George Pickens is my guy.
Ooh, that's a wide end.
Ooh,
full PPR right now. He's 16 overall, 256.7 projection. Half PPR at 15 and standard at 17. Right now, basement Brood Fantasy Football. Right now, he's a tier 3 in best balls. Comfortable as your WR1, even better as your WR2. I'm looking for him about mid round 2, late round 2 here if I can get him. But yeah, I think he's grouped in the names with Nico, Olave, Neighbors, Rice, all WR1 candidates this year. So like, there's.
Did you say Rice, Tanner?
Yeah, Rice, dude.
Yeah, is he gonna be a WR1 on somebody?
Superstar.
Well, what
he's our WR1, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. So, but yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what it is, man. There's actually a jail league. There's a league that you can play for when you're in jail. I think Michael Vick actually played on that league.
I saw a movie about that.
And I think that's what he's talking about. So Rashee Rice in that particular league.
Adam Sandler was in that.
What was that movie with Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler? Longest Yard.
Yeah, longest yard. Yeah. That'll be Rashee Rice pretty soon. Play with Adam Sandler in the Sandlot.
So George Pickens is I'm drafting no matter what guy. So.
Well, I mean, if Rashee Rice for some reason plays in jail, then it could almost be like the MLB did with Pete Rose and the hit record. You can just start adding up stats from the jail league if you want to, because they started adding up stats for Ichiro there when he played in Japan, and they tried to count it towards the MLB.
Oh yeah.
So if
Itchy, don't talk crap about Itchy Butthole. Don't talk about crap about Itchy Butthole.
No, listen. Okay. If you can count stats from Ichiro playing in Japan towards MLB, do you count stats for Rashee Rice in jail?
Hey, man.
For the NFL?
If you could count my stats from the church league back in the mid 2000s, I would be a mid-level exception in the NBA right now. I was balling out of control in my church league.
All the stats count if you ask Ichiro Suzuki.
Yeah.
Just dude, doesn't matter where you play at. Just add them to the list.
All right,
why.
boys.
That's why he's the hit king,
So
right?
where are we going with this? All stats matter? Is that what you're trying
All
to tell me?
stats matter.
Guys. That's our fantasy topic. Let's get out of here. We got less
Oh,
than
gosh.
15 seconds. 15 seconds.
Are you serious? That's it?
Spit it out, man.
All right. Well, anyways, I enjoyed you guys hanging out with us today. Like and subscribe, as you always should, of course. We will be here and again in 2 weeks, I think. But we're getting
figure it
closer
out.
Hold on, we're getting closer to every single week. We're itching.
But we got vacations coming up, so we'll have to figure
We
out
do.
what our schedule's going to be.
He has a vacation coming up. I have a vacation coming up. We've always got time.
I got a
off all
work
the time,
thing, so
But
you know,
the great news is, guys, when you catch us during football season, we will be, every single week. So we'll be rocking and rolling. Plan is to get to Chiefs camp at some point, hopefully, and get some news brought back to you guys. And otherwise,
Stay
like I
on
said,
top of those YouTube shorts. We're coming out hot.
check them out. So, anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight, and I will see you all on the next one.
Outro.
see you guys.